Have you ever wondered what it's really like for a beginner blogger to start a new blog? I mean, what it's really like. I just started my first blog about 30 days ago in a very competitive niche. And I'm going to be posting my traffic reports, my income reports, and every hiccup I hit along the way every month for the next 2 years. This is month number 1, so I'm also going to be telling you a little bit how I got started and making some recommendations for you based on your budget and your time. Hi, my name's Will. This channel is all about financial independence, increasing your financial literacy, and sharing my journeys into financial independence, YouTube, and blogging all along the way. So if you're interested in all that, be sure to subscribe down below. While you're down there, leave me a comment letting me know where you are on the path to starting your blog or your path to financial independence. With that, let's get right into the video. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit more vloggy than my previous videos, and that's really because I want to portray the experience that I've had. You know, on July 5th, I finally hit the launch button on my blog. This was about 60 days of work that it took to get to this point. And like I said before, and I'll post a video up above, Tom from This Online World really helped me during that time. He had been posting all his reports for the first year, every month. And it really motivated me to keep pushing on, keep producing that content. And I want to be able to pass that on to whoever might be interested. So whenever I finally hit launch, you know, I was excited, but I was pretty nervous too. I'm going into a very competitive niche or niche. If your niche is less competitive, you know, full disclosure, you may have better results than me. Tom had slightly better results than me, but I don't think his niche was quite as competitive as finance. And I know that I could probably go a little bit less competitive, but finance is really where my interest is and where I have value to give you guys. So that's where I wanted to grow my influence, and I don't think that I would be able to have the influence that I can there anywhere else. I'll continue to post these every month. Starting next month, I'll do the YouTube updates as well. The first one, YouTube will get its own to show you how I got started and kind of make some recommendations on stuff, because there are more differences on YouTube. But eventually, the two might become one report every month. It'll really just depend on if I can provide enough value in two different videos, or if there's a little enough to say that I can combine it into one. It'll also depend on my schedule. So I knew for a little while that blogging and YouTube were going to be a way to grow my influence, and really it was just deciding on whether they were a viable side gig. If they were something I could learn and do part-time, I have a job, and still have a side gig that also positively influences other people, that I could grow the positive impact that I can make. And once I found out that, you know, it is viable and there are people who are successful in it, I knew that I didn't want to wander aimlessly. I wanted to learn. I wanted to take a course and learn how to do it right. Now, there are a lot of courses out there, and I looked into many of them. I finally decided on Create and Go with Alex and Lauren because of the amount of content that they give you in one package deal. It's not a cheap course, but there is a lot of content in there. Now, with that being said, there were still times when I felt lost, and there will still be times when you feel lost. It's okay. There really is a lot that blogging encompasses, and there's a lot of ins and outs that are going to take a minute to get used to. So at some point you will feel lost. It's okay. Keep on pushing with whatever course you have, and you'll get it figured out. So I also wanted something that was viable long term. You know, I wanted to get started for the least amount possible, but I also wanted something that could last for years should I want it to. And that's why I really went with their recommendations of Bluehost for my hosting and Divi for my theme. So Bluehost is it's a good host. It's a big name, so you know it's reputable, and it is not the highest tier, but the pricing is phenomenal to get started with. You know, for one price to give you everything you need. Divi is a theme that was pretty user friendly, and that's why I wanted it. But at the same time, you can see the potential for it to make an awesome looking site. Now, I don't have the experience yet, but the potential is there. It's a cool theme. So for the first 40 days, I was really focused on the web design, the getting in there, making it look good, making it user friendly, making it to where it didn't have weird stuff happening, like a pop-up going crazy. And once I got that done, it took about 40 days. Once I got that done, you know, the rest of the time was just straight content. I didn't want any less than 10 articles, and I wanted some really good free resources and tools for you guys before I ever launched. So I was able to get it. I actually launched with 10 articles plus the one on the launch day. I published one and was able to have some free tools. And the other thing that they recommended was ConvertKit that I didn't end up getting. It is not cheap, and I'll talk about it. But something else I did with ConvertKit was actually set up a landing page and a email email list. And so email lists are really important. If you want something that's viable long term, you're going to have to build an email list. And I went with ConvertKit because of their ease of use. So that's kind of, the basics that I started with and used to build the first site that I launched. So another thing about ConvertKit that I liked was they let me use their address on my emails. So a really important note if you're going to be starting a blog, when you send emails from your blog, regardless of what it's about, it is considered a marketing email. You have to include a address with that. Per FTC regulations, it's the law. So I was not comfortable with using my own address, and in fact, I wasn't even comfortable with using my own name at first. For the whole first month, I just had Simple Success FI, which is my website, and the S from the logo on everything. So it didn't take very long for me to get over that part, for a few different reasons. Number one, you guys don't want just a face, you want a name with a face, and that's important to connect to your audience. Number two is 2019, and if somebody wants to find you, they can. Number three, I realized really quick, if you look around a site long enough, you can find people's name. If you do any sort of affiliate marketing, when you're setting up social media accounts, your name is already out there. So, and if you look around the site long enough, you'll find mine. Don't get excited. It's nothing exciting. It's just too long for the YouTube name to fit in everything that I wanted, and it's boring. So, and I don't think you care. But just something to keep in mind, if you're going to do any sort of affiliate marketing or social media, your name is going to be out there somewhere. So if you're not comfortable with that, you should really look into which options are going to be right for you. My basic plan starting were, I knew I wanted to niche or niche down into finance. Whenever you first get started, I'm sure you've already heard it or you will hear again. Whenever you're first starting, you've got to have laser focus on one topic. You cannot be broad. There's just too much content out there. You really need to find a niche that is not completely filled and provide value within it. So I knew finance, budgeting, financial independence was going to be sort of mine. Eventually, I do want to get into my journeys, like sharing the blog and the YouTube, but then also into real estate. And so that was my basic plan. My plan for traffic was definitely going to be Pinterest. I'm in a very competitive niche, so competing on Google, and eventually you'll have to learn this, the stuff like SEO, search engine optimization. Competing on Google and finance is incredibly hard anyways. And then whenever you're competing with government sites, like I compete with the IRS for some of my keywords. That's not going to happen. You're not going to win that in the first couple of years. So I knew that Google SEO couldn't be my only focus. I ended up going with Pinterest because I think that first of all, it's a discovery engine. It's a discovery engine just like Google and YouTube. It also has evergreen content. So if you make a pin with content that lasts a long time, people can search that for years to come. That's the kind of stuff that I was gearing towards. So for my Pinterest traffic, I did decide to use Tailwinds. Full disclosure, Tailwinds is a paid service, but it's a really good way to automate your Pinterest traffic. Now, Pinterest could swallow up a lot of time. It could be very time consuming. Tailwinds is a way to kind of automate that, and it has provided a lot of initial traffic for me to my blog. In fact, I think most of my initial traffic was probably from Pinterest, and I think a lot of it did have to do with Tailwinds. And the tribes on there, which I'll talk a little bit more about. So in addition to that though, I knew that I would be spending some time on Pinterest, but I already talked about Google. I was just going to use best practices because I know I'm not going to outrank government websites. I'd had extra time though. I needed another traffic source. You want at least one or two that you really just focus on and laser focus on, just like your niche. You need traffic sources that you're really just trying to dominate. So I started looking at some other stuff, and that's where Tom from This Online World comes in again. He talked about Medium. Now, Medium is a really interesting traffic source. So the basic idea is you can actually import articles you already posted on your blog. You import them to Medium, and you're still getting credit. It's got your author, name up there. It's got a tag of where it was first published, which will be your blog or your website. But in addition to that, they put a tag in there so that Google picks up your blog and still gives credit to your blog, not to Medium for that post. In addition to that, you can actually monetize the post. So there is a paid version of Medium so basically the free version, you can go and read a certain amount of articles a week or month, I don't remember. And the paid version, it's $5 a month. You can read an unlimited amount of articles. Well, people can also clap for you whenever you write for Medium. A clap's kind of like a like, but basically you add claps to a story that you really enjoy, and a portion of your membership goes to that article. So it's not very much. It ranges from like half a cent a clap, I think, to about a cent, but it's something. And so it's a really good way to get some initial audience and some small monetization. In addition to that, I stumbled upon something called Viral Content Bee. Now, Viral Content Bee, this is thanks to Caffeinated Blogger, is a really interesting source as well. And it's kind of got the same idea as Tribes, where you share content to earn credits. You're sharing other creators' content to earn credits, but you use those credits, you spend them to make a project. That project is an article that can get shares. So other people share your project to get credits for their own projects. And so it's a circle of creators helping each other by sharing their content. And it's really, really good because you can get access to other people's traffic, right? If they already have an audience somewhere, you can get traffic from their audience potentially, and then turn around and still be sharing their content with your audience. And so it's just a great idea. And I did get a little bit of initial traffic. Additionally, since a lot of people use it with Pinterest, a lot of the traffic that I'm already driving through Pinterest just gets compounded by the traffic from Viral Content Bee. I do have a Facebook page. It is linked somewhere. I'll link it, but I'm not really pushing it. It's just kind of there. Some interesting stuff happened though, so I'll talk about that. So my content progress did meet all my goals for the first month. I was able to post once a week. Originally I was posting on Friday, now I'm posting on Wednesday, but that's just due to where traffic's the best and my schedule. I got 4 posts done with an average word count of 2,274. So whenever you're first starting writing, you want to hit at least 2,000 on your word count. That is for SEO purposes. And at first it's gonna feel like a lot, but I've learned as I've kept writing and I'm getting like more in depth on my articles and getting better at writing too, right? That word count has naturally come up. So I think it probably will for you too, depending on your topic. So I got 4 articles out. My budgeting tool guide, it's just a guide for my budgeting tool. 5 family budgeting ideas of just awesome tactics for multiple incomes and expenses. Why I decided not to pay off my student loans, which is actually the first of a series about playing to win, not playing not to lose, and credit and debt management. And then what is FI that I've also posted a video for last week. So I was really serious about once a week, new content. I am with YouTube too, and so I did meet that goal. And I would say that's about the minimum you want to do is once a week. Okay, so now what you're here for. What you clicked on this video for, what you're probably watching it for, my traffic. Now, I was actually really surprised by this. I didn't really know what to expect, but I was kind of thinking worst case possible. So according to Monster Insights, and I'll put it up here, my sessions were 227 for the first month. My page views were 238. And if you notice on the right there, that number that's popped up, that's because I forgot to take the screenshot on the right day. And that's that last day, so you can subtract that, and that's the numbers I'm getting from. If you notice also in that first, in the first 15 days, I had like kind of a really just surprising spike of traffic. I got, the first 150 page views and sessions, bam, first 15 days. I think, here's my theory, I think that is because, first of all, I was a new creator popping up on all these social media sites, and people were, oh, it's something new. Is it legitimate? Is it good? Whatever. And in addition to that, and this could be good or bad for you depending on your situation. So right up at the time it really dropped off, I'd been off work, right? I took some time off work and had some vacation days to use, and that's right when I went back to work. So prior to going back to work, I was on every couple hours. My wife was making fun of me because I'm like checking my traffic all the time, But when I went back to work, I couldn't do that. And so I'm wondering if that's why the traffic dropped off. I wasn't constantly updating and engaging. That could be good or bad for you depending on your situation. If you have a ton of time to spend on it, that could be really good. That means you could sit there and push it all day. If you're like me and you have a job, it could be bad news because we can't do that every day, right? So where did that traffic come from? Most of it was Pinterest. Pinterest is a lot about SEO as well. It's still a search engine, which is why it's awesome for traffic. But it's also about group boards and tribes. So earlier I talked about how on Viral Content Bee, it's creators supporting each other. Group boards and tribes are the same way. They're both groups where on a group board, and that's completely free, users can all follow that board, right? And whenever they're following that board, they can get content from a bunch of different creators at the same time. Additionally, when you're posting to a board, most boards have a requirement to turn around and share someone else's content. And you have to maintain a certain ratio. And that's just so that the creators are all supporting each other. Tribes are the same way, but it is behind a paywall with Tailwind. So it's the same way where you join a tribe, and every time you share, you have to share someone else's content. It's just creators helping each other out. I really like that idea, and it has provided a lot of content for me. So interestingly enough, I have not pushed Facebook at all. All I do is I do have a page. All I do every time I post a new article, I share it on there, just so it's there, right? And I don't know why, but I've actually gotten some traffic from Facebook. A good portion actually came from Facebook this first month, and I have no clue why. Another thing that I'm super confused on was I actually got some direct traffic. So on your analytics, whenever you see direct, that means that's traffic from a search engine. That means a keyword somebody put in brought your article to them, and they went to your article from there, straight from a search engine, direct. Interestingly enough, I cannot figure out what I'm ranking for in any search engine, but I had some direct traffic. Go figure. Notice the bounce rate and session duration at the bottom. So session duration is how long someone on your site spent on your site. Bounce rate is how often someone exits your site without moving to a different page than the page they landed on. Now, these numbers right here are bad. These are not good durations and bounce rate. But I have a theory. I think that a lot of it, so whenever you share on Pinterest, something you want to do before you share someone's content is you go to the content from the pin to make sure it's legitimate, it's not spam or anything like that. A lot of my initial traffic might have been from that. And so that kind of goes with my theory of that initial spike being other creators checking me out. And I think that's why my bounce rate and session duration are so bad. So that could be good or bad depending on how you look at it. Good because I still got traffic. People still now know who I am and kind of know my content. Could be bad because that means it was just other creators looking at my content and then leaving. So I did get a lot of shares though, which means somebody thought there was value in it. On to income. So full disclosure, I did not expect any income for the first 6 months. Like whenever I first started, I fully expected the first 6 to 12 months to just be the work. So the fact that I got any income at all on the first month just blows my mind. It made me super excited, just because. And it wasn't very much, okay? I made 34 cents off of Medium. And that's thanks to Ben Lee Fort. So whenever I first started on Medium, started posting, I might have followed him. That might have been how he found me. But Ben Lee Fort has a publication called Making a Millionaire. And he invited me to write for his publication. And so it got me a little bit of additional traction, got me some additional audience members. But then he also was clapping for me, and it might have just been to keep me going, motivate me a little bit. But still, thanks, Ben. I really appreciate it. I got 34 cents from Medium. Again, it's nothing, it's small, but you know what? I was excited about it. So I also did monetize just recently through affiliate links. If you don't know what affiliate links are, that's something you'll get into. You'll learn about it. It's basically just whenever you have a link, and a lot of my links down below are affiliate links. Basically, when someone clicks on them and buys something through the link, you get a small portion. Now, it doesn't cost them anything additional. You're basically just marketing for that company or for that product. So a key here, though, is never post an affiliate link of a product or service you don't use, know enough about to recommend it, and truly recommend. Is it something you'd recommend to a family member? And if it's not, don't post it. That's an easy way to make sure you go nowhere. And so I am going to, do some monetization through affiliate links, but it'll be pretty limited to just like really specific things that I enjoy or think are valuable. So in addition to that, eventually I will do ads. I do have operating expenses to cover. You will too. I don't plan to for the first 6 to 12 months. That's due, first of all, the requirements, right? For ad agencies and YouTube, there are specific traffic requirements you have to meet before you can monetize through their network or through YouTube. But in addition to that, I don't want to slow down my growth. I guess it's, first of all, my site's not real fast, and I'm working on that. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I also don't want to have ads be the first thing people see on my site every time they go there whenever I'm still trying to grow. And so I feel like it might slow me down. The amount of money I'm missing out on is pretty minuscule with small traffic, so I'm going to wait a little bit. I'll monetize later and then readjust from there. So that brings me to my goals. Tom posted his goals every 30 days, and it really gave me a good idea of, well, I've run into this. I know this is where I need to look to tweak. At this stage, this might be what my focus needs to be. And so my next 30 days focus and goals will be included in every 30 days as well. Your first thing is going to be traffic, getting traffic. You can't grow an audience without traffic. So increasing my traffic through there. Pinterest is still going to be my focus. It's super easy to let slip. Learning the SEO and improving my pins is going to be a really big focus for me. After that, it'll be just my content. Like I said, the content naturally gets a little bit better as you go. You get better at writing, get more in depth in your articles. But in addition to just the articles itself, I also want to improve my site. So it's okay, but it still has a lot of improvements that can be made, and I really need to speed it up. Basically, with SEO, you need certain speed metrics that you want to try to hit with your site. That's how quick, a server can pick it up. I'm barely meeting some of those or not meeting them, and I just don't have the knowledge right now to improve anymore on my own. So one of the first things I reinvest back in will most likely be help with the site, the design and the speed. Now, here in a minute, I'm going to talk about that other theme, and it might solve some of the issues for me eventually, and we'll get to that. So after that, it's going to be my content. I said already, the content, it kind of gets better as you go naturally. You get better at your writing, you get more in depth, and you kind of know what people are looking for, so you naturally get better. But in addition to that, I really want to improve my site. So it's okay. It was good enough for me to launch. I feel happy with it, but I really need to, I want to make it look a little bit more professional. I want to speed it up. So with SEO, there are specific metrics and speed you want to try to hit, and I'm either barely making some of those or not making them. I just don't have the knowledge to improve anymore on my own right now. So some of the first reinvestment I make back into the site will probably be in my design and speed. After that, it's just audience. Increasing my sphere of influence is why I'm doing this in the first place. I really want to increase my audience and increase my rapport with my audience. So that brings me to, YouTube from here on out will probably take up more energy than the blog. Part of that's because it takes a lot more time to post a YouTube video versus write a blog. Right now I'm averaging 8 to 10 hours per video. So that's a big part of it. But also I enjoy it. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I do. And I also think it's a better way to connect with my audience. And that's the question of the day. What do you think? Do you think that a blog or YouTube is an easier way to connect to your audience and a better way to create long-lasting connection to your audience? Let me know in the comments down below. While you're down there, don't forget to leave me a like. It really does help the channel out. That kind of just brings me to my recommendations for you to get started with. There are free options out there. The thing is, if you want something that's viable long-term, WordPress is kind of the gold standard, and it's where you're going to end up. So you might as well just begin there and learn it from the very start. Additionally, if you go with one of the free options that doesn't let you have your own domain name, you may not get that domain name later that you're looking for. And so having your own domain name with .com on it is pretty important today, even 2019, in the business aspect. So I would recommend starting with that. So bare minimum recommendations are going to be a Bluehost web hosting. The reason I prefer Bluehost, yes, it's not the top tier on speed or anything like that, but the price, for one price, you get your 3 years of web hosting, you get your domain name, and the SSL certificate, which is your security certificate. Puts in the S after HTTP. It's pretty important. It's kind of a check in the box, but it's something you need. So after that is a theme. Now, you want a theme that is user-friendly, but can be expanded upon. So I really liked Divi. That is what Alex and Lauren recommended. I like Divi because it was user-friendly enough to get it up and going, but like I said, there's a lot to improve on it too. And that's just because of the pure potential. The potential of Divi is amazing. I've seen some amazing sites with Divi. I don't have the knowledge yet, but it was also easy enough to get started with. Now, there is a new theme out, and it's actually a little bit cheaper. I want to make sure I say this right, okay? So Income School has been working on this for like a year, and they finally released it. Acrobato. It is supposed to be super fast, super user-friendly, and it's a little bit cheaper. So Divi is $80 a year, or it's like $290 for a lifetime, but $80 a year. If you do Acrobato, it's $50 for a year or $99 for a lifetime license on as many sites as you want. So my next site or my next theme will probably be Acrobato. I want to try it. I really like the guys at Income School. But Divi's not a bad choice either. It really depends on what you prefer and what you want to try to work with. So that total brings you to about $160 to $200 to get started. Now, and that's because if that's your minimum, that's what you can spend, you can do a free MailChimp account. So with that though, the only thing with MailChimp is it doesn't have all the features of ConvertKit, but it can be a good way to get started. I think it's up to 2,000 subscribers that you can get started with your email list. So $160 to $200 is really the bare minimum that you want to get started with. So if you're able to get that and get started on that, in that price range, but you still have a little bit of cash, I would definitely recommend a course. So the first thing I would do is buy a course. Alex and Lauren's is $100, $97 for their first Launch Your Blog course. It is going to more than pay for itself. What you're getting for that $97 is you're going to pay a lot more other places for, like $300. So, if you have the cash, it's awesome. It's going to save you a lot of time. If not, though, you can do it yourself. You're going to have to put in a lot more work and time. Just be prepared for that. So some other time savers and optimizers, stress savers that you could do is, one of them is their next course. It's $200 though, so it's a pretty steep step up, but it really did help me monetize, first of all, figure out what affiliate marketing is, sponsored posts, etc., and help me get started actually with traffic, with my mailing list and some other traffic things. So it can be worth it if you have the funds. Now, on to ConvertKit. So I'm a fan of ConvertKit, if you can't tell. I'm wearing their shirt, actually. Teach everything you know. It's going to be my shirt for these updates. I really am a fan of ConvertKit. And that is because, again, everything that they offer. Now, it is not a cheap service. ConvertKit is $290 a year. But with ConvertKit, you're getting the mailing list that is so easy to use. It is awesome, and you just have to go and research it. You'll see the difference between MailChimp and ConvertKit. There's nothing against MailChimp. It's a great service, but ConvertKit is just it was created by a blogger, so it is going to be more user-friendly. In addition to that, the automated sequences are just so easy. They're very visual, easy to set up and see. You get landing page software with it. It's very basic, but that's all you need to begin with. And that's a $60 to $80 service right there through someone else. And that's something that you're going to eventually need. The other thing I already talked about was the address. So again, it's a legal requirement to include your address in there on any emails you send. I didn't want to include mine. ConvertKit actually lets you use their business address, a PO box, for all your emails, and that is awesome. That right there is anywhere, depending on your location and everything, $60 to $120 though is kind of in my research what I saw it was going to cost. So if you had those, let's say that's anywhere from $120 to $200 right there off of the real price that you're spending on ConvertKit, and I really do think it's worth it. So if you have the budget to spend and you're going to go at it, you want to be a professional and you want it long term. Here's what you can do. Okay, so Bluehost and a theme. And I would do the research, decide Divi or Acrobato. Those are my two top ones. Again, I'm using Divi right now. I really do like it. I am going to try Acrobato next, most likely, depending on some other factors. But those are really the two top choices to me. I think Acrobato might be a better value because for only $20 more, you're getting a lifetime license. Divi is $80 a year, and then it's like almost $300 or something for the lifetime license. So it is a third of the cost if you just go right with the lifetime, right? So Acrobato might be one you want to look at. The Bluehost is $110. That's for 3 years of web hosting. That's your domain name, your SSL, all that. So right there, it's about if you do both of them, it's about $210. So the next would be the full Pro Blogger course with Create and Go. If you have the money, it is awesome. I've completed the first 3 courses. It's 4 in one. The first one's the Launch the Blog. By itself, it's $97, and it's going to save you so much time in the first couple months. It probably, like that 60 days of launch, probably would have easily been double that without that single course. After that, it's the $200 course, and it's included in it. is all about monetization and traffic. And so once you get everything running and launch, it helps you start picking up traffic and monetization. Then their third course is included, and I don't know how much it is on its own, but it is the Pinterest Avalanche course. And it is all about just teaching you the Pinterest techniques that you're going to need to know to start all the traffic. The majority of my traffic is through what I learned in that course. So it's really worth it. The fourth one is all about making your own products. So courses, ebooks, stuff like that. I do eventually want to get into writing. That's really where I got interested in blogging in the first place. So they kind of talk you through a lot of the ins and outs of writing, the legal stuff even, and all that stuff. All of it together is $650. So it's not a cheap course, but if you have the money, it's more than worth it. And I would definitely look at picking it up if that's an option for you. Then ConvertKit, again, it's not cheap. It's $290 a year, but I already talked about all that you get with it. If you want long term and you have the money to spend on it, I could not see why you wouldn't go with ConvertKit and Bluehost and a good theme. Like those are your basics right there, and then the course to really learn everything. So that's sort of my top recommendations there. And then if you really want to get serious about the traffic, in Pinterest, and so you're setting everything up, you're learning it. Now you got to get serious about traffic. I would definitely recommend Tailwinds with a tribe upgrade. So it's $180 a year altogether. That's $120 for Tailwinds, $60 for the tribe upgrade. Though if you don't want to do the tribe upgrade at first, don't just do the $120. If you do all that together, that's going to be about $1,300. So that's about what I spent. Yes, that is a very bold investment. But if you are going to do this in a professional manner, think about it as your startup cost. It's a really high risk investment because it's a startup cost. So if you have that sort of, budget, it's definitely recommended to go about it like that. Go about this like a business along with it being a hobby. For me, it's sort of taking the place of other hobbies that cost money. So that $1,300, over the next 2 or 3 years, I probably would have spent it on something to do with my motorcycle, or I love Harleys, gaming maybe. I really like gaming, or I'm also a big fan of Scotch. So strangely enough, something I didn't expect to happen. Because I work on this a lot at night and I'm writing, I tend to drink less Scotch, and I ended up drinking less. So I save money there too. Crazy. But to me, that's how I look at it. And if you are going to spend that much money, even if you're going to spend $100, I would go about this as not just a hobby, go about it as a business. That's an investment. Yes, it's high risk. Yes, it's probably one of the most high risk. Startup costs are the most high risk investments you can make sometimes. But if you go about it like that, you're going to be far more likely to be successful. And if you don't want the course, you want to figure the rest of it out. If you take out the course on it, that's $640, $650, all this together is about $600, I think, about $600 to $700. And then you can always, not buy the full course yet, start with the first one, make it $700 or $800 to get started. You can kind of mix and match. You have it all here. Every single link is down below. You can also go to the article and it has links to each thing too. You can, study it, decide what you want to do, and put together kind of how you want to get started. Just be sure before you purchase anything, before you decide and buy something, have a plan. Decide how you're going to go about it, have a plan, and that way you're not wasting money somewhere else. And that brings me to my recommended resources. Even if you don't buy anything through Create and Go and Alex and Lauren, you need to go check out their YouTube channel. There is a lot of information on there. So even if you say, hey, it's just not my budget, or I just don't want to spend money on a course, whatever it is, you can get a lot of information just from their YouTube. So go check it out, and it's really going to help you. I've already talked about Tom and This Online World. I'm going to link the category page for all his blog posts on blogging, and you need to go check that out too. It should really motivate you, along with hopefully my content as well, but it should kind of help you go along. Then I've already talked about Income School as well. The guys there are really informational. They're kind of no BS, right? Put it out to you. And they've got that theme now. They're just a really good resource. And I'll link their channel down below. Lots of cool stuff on there, so go check it out. Then there's Caffeinated Blogger. He is, well, kind of like me, a caffeinated blogger. And he really helps you. He is who first told me about Viral Content Bee in one of his videos. So that was pretty cool. And he's going to provide a lot of value too. So those are really great resources of information, because Really all I'm going to be doing a lot of is just the reports each month. If you want to get down to the nitty gritty, those are the channels you're really going to want to go to for that information. So on top of that, there's a few really good free resources like Canva and stuff like that. So do not pay for a lot of image processing unless you already pay for that for some other reason. I don't pay for anything for images. There's Pixabay for free stock images. There's Canva. There's image compressor, online image compressor to compress your images for your site. Don't pay for that stuff. It's out there. It's on Alex and Lauren's stuff. If you ever have questions about it, just send me a message or comment or whatever, and I'll help you out with that. So thanks for watching to the end. I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope that this is something you're interested in if you're watching, or you'll get value from it. If you do, be sure to comment down below, let me know, and tell me how things are going for you. I really am interested, and I want to know how things are going for my viewers. If you want to see more content like this, and you found this valuable, or you want to see content on financial independence and increase your financial literacy, be sure to subscribe down below. While you're down there, leave me a comment with how things are going for you, and be sure to leave a subscriber number, the number of subscribers you were when you click the button. I'm still a super new and young channel. The first 100 subscribers are the hardest to get to, and I want to remember exactly who helped me get there. So thanks, and I'll talk to you guys next time. I'm so caffeinated. Okay.